This isn't about Tesla. It's not about Toyota either. This time, it's Honda that has made a move powerful enough to spark conversations across the global auto industry. In a race where many believed the EV game was nearly decided, Honda has taken a bold step that's forcing even the biggest electric vehicle giants to pause and rethink their strategies. What makes this even more interesting is that Honda didn't create a flashy launch event or make loud announcements. While the world was focused on improving battery capacity, reducing charging time, and extending driving range, Honda was quietly working behind the scenes in a completely different direction, one that many had already dismissed as outdated. But Honda has a history of challenging conventional thinking. And now, analysts, auto experts, and EV companies are all asking the same question. Could Honda's new engine reshape the EV landscape? Is this technology capable of directly challenging the dominance of fully electric cars? In this video, you'll discover what Honda has done differently, something other companies either couldn't or wouldn't do. We'll explore the technology behind this new engine and why it has the potential to shake up the entire EV market. Before we dive into the details, let's first understand Honda's journey. Because unless you know where Honda comes from, you won't fully grasp why it's willing to take such a bold risk today and challenge the EV trend head-on. Honda didn't become successful overnight. Its story is built on struggle, determination, and unconventional thinking. The company was founded in Japan under very humble circumstances. Its founder, Soichiro Honda, didn't come from a wealthy industrial family. From a young age, he was fascinated by machines, especially engines. It's often said that he loved the sound of them. Academically, he wasn't considered exceptional, but he had something far more powerful, a deep desire to create and innovate. After World War II, Japan was devastated. Resources were scarce, money was limited, and the country was rebuilding from the ground up. During that difficult time, Soichiro Honda began attaching small engines to bicycles in a tiny workshop. His goal was simple: to give ordinary people an affordable way to travel. That small idea became the foundation of something much bigger. In 1948, Honda Motor Company was officially established. At first, the company focused on motorcycles. Building cars at the time required huge investment and came with major risks. Motorcycles were more practical and affordable, and Honda's models quickly gained popularity in Japan because they were reliable, efficient, and accessible to everyday people. By the 1950s, Honda began expanding internationally. Entering markets like the United States was no easy task for a young Japanese company. But once again, Honda chose a different path. While many competitors were producing large, heavy motorcycles, Honda focused on lightweight, user-friendly, and dependable bikes. Campaigns like "You meet the nicest people on a Honda" weren't just clever marketing. They reflected a new mindset. That approach helped Honda dominate the global motorcycle market. Today, Honda is recognized as one of the largest motorcycle manufacturers in the world. Honda entered the automobile industry a bit later, but when it did, it came prepared. In the 1970s, models like the Civic and Accord changed the company's image. These cars were fuel-efficient, reliable, and affordable. During the oil crisis, when fuel prices were soaring, Honda's efficient vehicles offered real relief to consumers. From that point on, Honda was no longer just a motorcycle company. It became a respected global automotive brand. Over the decades, Honda has consistently taken a unique approach to technology. Whether it was developing the VTEC engine, investing in hybrid systems, or researching hydrogen fuel cells, Honda has never blindly followed industry trends. Instead, it focuses on practical solutions that benefit everyday drivers. And now, as the world rushes toward fully electric vehicles, Honda is once again choosing its own path, proving that it has never been afraid to think differently. In recent years, Honda has continued to be a major force in the global automotive industry. The company sells around 3.5 to 4 million cars worldwide every year. Its dominance is even stronger in the motorcycle segment, with annual sales of approximately 18 to 20 million motorcycles and scooters across the globe. In regions such as Asia, Africa, and Latin America, Honda remains the preferred brand for millions of everyday consumers. These figures highlight an important truth. Honda isn't just focused on wealthy nations. Its real strength lies in markets where infrastructure is still developing, where practicality matters more than luxury, and where new technologies are adopted carefully rather than blindly. This practical mindset also explains why Honda is taking a balanced and cautious approach toward electric vehicles. So when Honda's leadership claims that their new engine could disrupt the EV industry, it's not just marketing talk. This is the same company that began by attaching engines to bicycles, later transformed the motorcycle industry, and then reshaped the global car market. Honda has repeatedly shown that real power doesn't come from making noise. It comes from delivering the right technology at the right time. Honda's new engine technology. To truly understand Honda's new engine, it's important to realize that Honda doesn't see it as just a mechanical innovation. It sees it as a philosophy. This new system, called the Next Generation EEV engine, has been designed to address real-world needs rather than simply looking impressive on paper. Honda believes the future of mobility won't follow a single path. Instead of committing to one extreme, this engine is built to adapt to different circumstances. Unlike traditional petrol engines that directly power the wheels, this system primarily works as a generator. Most of the time, the engine produces electricity, and that electricity powers the vehicle. In simple terms, the engine works in the background while the car runs mainly on electric power. When driving slowly in city traffic, the vehicle operates almost entirely on electricity. The engine only turns on when the battery needs to recharge. Importantly, Honda has engineered the engine to run at its most fuel-efficient speed. In conventional cars, engines constantly speed up and slow down, which increases fuel consumption. But in this new EEV system, the engine operates smoothly and consistently. The result is better fuel efficiency, strong performance, and lower emissions. One of the standout features of this engine is its ability to intelligently adapt to driving conditions. In city environments, the car relies mostly on electric power. On highways or at higher speeds, the engine and electric motor work together to deliver optimal performance. The driver doesn't need to switch modes or press extra buttons. The system manages everything seamlessly in the background. Honda has also focused on keeping the system lightweight and balanced. Instead of using a very large and heavy battery, like many fully electric vehicles, this system uses a smaller, efficiently managed battery. This reduces overall vehicle weight and improves driving comfort. It also makes the vehicle more appealing to people who are concerned about the cost and weight of full EVs. Another key advantage is flexibility. The engine isn't limited to traditional petrol. Honda has designed it to potentially run on biofuels or other cleaner fuels in the future. This means the vehicle itself doesn't need to change. Only the fuel source can evolve over time. That forward-thinking approach makes it adaptable and future-ready. Honda describes this EEV engine as a bridge between today and tomorrow. The company understands that the entire world cannot transition to fully electric vehicles overnight, especially in countries like India and other developing regions where charging infrastructure is still limited. In such markets, this technology allows consumers to enjoy many benefits of electrification without worrying about charging availability or high upfront costs. In essence, Honda's new engine combines the quiet experience of an electric car with the flexibility and range of a petrol vehicle, all while remaining budget-friendly for the average consumer. That's why this innovation is more than just an engineering update. It represents a shift in mindset. And perhaps that's exactly why it's quietly creating waves across the EV industry. The current reality of the EV era. Today, the electric vehicle era has reached a point where many people believe the future belongs entirely to battery-powered cars. Governments around the world are actively promoting electric vehicles. Major corporations are investing billions of dollars into EV technology. From social media campaigns to high-budget advertisements, the same message is repeated everywhere. The age of petrol and diesel is ending, and the future belongs to electric vehicles. Gradually, people have been led to believe that if they want to stay relevant in the future, EVs are the only option. Today, EVs are not just presented as an alternative, they are portrayed as the ultimate solution. On the surface, the EV industry looks extremely promising. Advanced technology, instant acceleration, silent driving, and claims of zero emissions. Many people now believe EVs are the best possible choice for the environment and that one day every household will own one. In large cities especially, EVs have started to become a symbol of status and awareness. Some people feel that petrol and diesel vehicles are outdated and that those who don't switch to electric will eventually fall behind. However, behind this bright and optimistic picture, there are several realities that are rarely discussed openly. The first and biggest concern is the battery cost. The battery is the most expensive component of an electric vehicle. In many cases, it accounts for more than half of the vehicle's total price. If the battery performance declines or fails after a few years, replacing it can be so expensive that owners start considering selling the car instead. For the average person, this is not a small expense. The second major issue is charging infrastructure. Advertisements often make charging look simple and convenient, but in reality, charging stations are still not widely available everywhere. While major cities may have better infrastructure, using an EV in smaller towns or rural areas can still feel risky. Many people worry about what would happen if the battery runs out on the road with no charging station nearby. This concern, known as range anxiety, is very real for everyday drivers. Charging time is another challenge. Filling a petrol tank takes about 5 minutes, and you're back on the road. Charging an EV, however, can take hours, depending on the charger type. For people with busy schedules, such as taxi drivers, delivery workers, or those who frequently travel long distances, this waiting time can be a serious inconvenience. There are also environmental concerns that don't get as much attention. EV batteries are made using minerals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. These resources are limited and require extensive mining to extract. Mining operations can cause environmental damage, and in some regions, working conditions for miners are far from ideal. This raises an important question. If the production process isn't completely clean, can EVs truly be called fully green? Then comes the issue of battery disposal and recycling. EV batteries do not last forever. Over time, their capacity decreases. When they reach the end of their usable life, what happens next? Recycling batteries is complex and expensive. If not handled properly, it can create environmental risks. At present, there is no simple, affordable, and fully developed global solution for large-scale battery recycling. Another topic that is rarely discussed is the long-term ownership cost. At first, EVs appear cheaper to operate because electricity costs less than fuel. But as the vehicle ages, battery health gradually declines. Eventually, the cost of replacing the battery can equal or even exceed the value of the vehicle itself. This puts owners in a difficult financial position. Despite these challenges, EVs have been widely accepted as the only path forward, largely because many people believe there is no alternative. The assumption has been that petrol and diesel are running out and that there is no middle ground between traditional engines and fully electric cars. But this leads to an important question. Will the future truly depend only on batteries? Or could there be another technology that addresses these hidden challenges and offers a more balanced solution? The fuel and efficiency game changer. Whenever someone considers buying a car, two questions usually come first. What's the mileage, and how much will it cost to run? With the rise of EVs, the wording has changed slightly. Now people ask, how far will it go on a single charge? But at the core, the thinking hasn't changed. Most people still evaluate cars the same way they always have, based on efficiency, affordability, and practicality. Honda's new engine, built around an intelligent fuel-based system, takes a different approach. Its core philosophy is simple. Extract the maximum possible value from every drop of fuel. In conventional engines, a significant portion of fuel energy is lost as heat, vibration, or unused power. Honda's system, however, is designed to operate consistently in its most efficient range, delivering strong performance while minimizing fuel consumption. EVs perform exceptionally well in city driving. They're quiet, smooth, and cost-effective in stop-and-go traffic. But their biggest limitation is the battery. During high-speed driving or long-distance travel, battery levels can drop quickly. Honda's new system addresses this concern. On highways where EV batteries tend to drain faster, Honda's engine runs steadily and efficiently, maintaining consistent performance and mileage over long distances. The system is intelligently optimized for different driving conditions. In city traffic, where braking and slow movement are common, the vehicle runs mostly on electric power. The engine activates only when necessary. This makes city driving feel very similar to an EV experience, quiet, smooth, and economical. However, once the car moves onto open roads, the engine and electric motor work together. This combination ensures both strong performance and impressive fuel efficiency. Energy consumption is another important factor. EVs rely entirely on electricity. If that electricity comes from renewable sources, the environmental benefit is clear. But in many parts of the world, electricity is still generated from coal or other polluting sources. This means that while the vehicle itself may produce no tailpipe emissions, its overall energy source isn't always completely clean. Honda's system, by contrast, uses less fuel, produces fewer emissions, and aims for a balanced environmental approach. In terms of mileage and practical usability, it competes strongly with EVs. An EV can travel a fixed distance on a single charge, but Honda's system allows long-distance travel without major interruptions. If fuel runs low, refueling takes just a couple of minutes, no extended waiting times, no concerns about finding a charging station. In today's fast-paced world, that convenience carries significant value. The long-term comparison makes the difference even clearer. Over time, EV batteries gradually lose capacity, reducing driving range. With Honda's system, performance decline is slower and more manageable. With proper maintenance, mileage remains stable for years, which enhances reliability. Another key advantage is system flexibility. In a fully electric vehicle, the battery is the central component. If it fails, the vehicle becomes unusable until repaired or replaced. Honda's combined fuel and electric system, however, provides multiple operating pathways. If one component weakens slightly, the entire vehicle doesn't shut down. That built-in resilience adds an extra layer of dependability. Ultimately, the decision comes down to everyday practicality. EV technology is impressive and continues to improve, but it may not yet suit every driver in every region. Honda's new engine aims to bridge the gap between present realities and future ambitions, offering solid mileage, intelligent energy use, and dependable performance. Impact on the global market. When Honda introduced this new engine and the philosophy behind it, the effect wasn't limited to a single region. It sparked discussion across the global automotive industry. Whenever a major company chooses a different path instead of simply following the EV trend, it naturally forces competitors and analysts to rethink assumptions. From America to Europe and from Asia to Africa, people are beginning to ask an important question. Is the future truly limited to battery-powered vehicles alone? To understand this shift better, we first need to look at what's happening in developed countries. In the United States and across Europe, electric vehicles were widely seen as the clear future of transportation. Governments offered subsidies, companies rapidly expanded charging networks, and the message was repeated everywhere. Petrol and diesel vehicles were becoming outdated. But Honda's new engine has sparked fresh debate even in these regions. Many people have started to consider that there may be another path forward, one that is practical, reliable, and better suited for those who frequently travel long distances or don't always have convenient access to charging stations. In Europe especially, where environmental regulations are extremely strict, this development has drawn attention. Because Honda's engine is designed to be highly fuel efficient and produce lower emissions, it has prompted discussions about whether relying solely on fully electric vehicles is the only solution, or whether advanced, intelligent fuel-based systems could also meet regulatory standards. This has even led policymakers to reconsider how future mobility strategies should be shaped. The impact in Asia has been even more noticeable. In countries like India, Indonesia, and Thailand, there has always been some hesitation about fully electric vehicles. These nations have large populations, varying income levels, and charging infrastructure is still developing. For many consumers in these markets, Honda's new engine feels like a practical middle ground. It offers modern technology and cost efficiency without requiring a complete shift to full electrification. That's why Honda's strategy in Asian markets is being closely observed. In parts of Africa and Latin America, EV adoption remains limited due to unreliable electricity supply, a lack of charging stations, and the need for vehicles that can last many years under tough conditions. In these regions, Honda's system appears to be a realistic and sensible solution. This could potentially strengthen Honda's position even further in these markets. The ripple effect hasn't been limited to customers. Other automotive manufacturers are paying close attention as well. Companies that previously focused almost entirely on EVs are now reconsidering whether they moved too quickly in one direction. Some are shifting renewed attention toward hybrid systems and highly efficient combustion engines. Honda has reminded the industry that progress doesn't have to follow a single path. There is more than one way to innovate. This shift has also influenced conversations in the oil and energy sectors. There had been widespread predictions that rising EV adoption would sharply reduce global oil demand. However, technologies like Honda's suggest that fuel use may not disappear entirely. Instead, it may evolve in smarter, more efficient ways. This gives governments and energy companies reason to reassess long-term strategies. Consumer thinking is changing as well. Many people previously assumed their next car would automatically be electric. Now more buyers are asking practical questions. Is an EV the right choice for my lifestyle? Are there alternatives that might suit me better? Honda's approach has given consumers the confidence to think independently and make decisions based on their specific needs rather than following a single global trend. Most importantly, Honda has demonstrated that the future of mobility doesn't move in just one direction. Different countries, economies, and individuals face different challenges. A single universal solution cannot fit everyone. That broader understanding is what sets Honda apart. Today, Honda Motor Company's new engine is no longer just a technological development. It has become part of a global conversation. It has forced the industry to reconsider what true progress really means. Is progress simply about adopting the newest trend, or is it about creating solutions that work for the greatest number of people? The answer to that question may shape the direction of the automotive industry in the years ahead. A wake-up call for EV companies. If any group feels uneasy about Honda's new engine, it's likely the EV-focused companies, and the reason is straightforward. Honda's system aims to deliver many of the same advantages that EVs promote: lower running costs, improved efficiency, and ease of use, without being fully electric. That alone makes it a serious competitor. Until now, many EV companies operated under the assumption that the future belonged exclusively to battery-powered vehicles with no meaningful alternatives. Based on that belief, billions of dollars were invested in manufacturing plants, battery factories were built, and large-scale charging networks were developed. Honda's new engine challenges that assumption. It suggests that a future-ready vehicle can exist without relying on massive battery packs, without long charging times, and without requiring complete electrification. If this technology becomes widely adopted, the biggest impact on EV companies may not be immediate sales. It may be customer perception. Right now, many people are choosing EVs because they feel there's no real alternative. The belief has been that electric is the only future, but once consumers see an option like Honda's system, they may pause and reconsider. They'll start asking practical questions. Why choose a fully electric car if there's a vehicle that avoids charging hassles, removes the fear of costly battery replacements, and potentially costs less overall? Another major shift could happen in middle-class and developing markets. EV brands still rely heavily on wealthier buyers and customers in major cities where charging networks are better developed. But Honda's engine is aimed at drivers who don't have charging stations on every corner, who plan to keep their cars for many years, and who prioritize long-term reliability above all else. If this large and practical segment leans toward Honda's solution, the growth space for EV-only companies could narrow. This is why companies like Tesla and BYD would naturally pay attention. Tesla's entire identity is built around electric vehicles. Its strengths lie in battery technology, software integration, and charging infrastructure. But if consumers begin to believe that EVs are not the only smart choice, that narrative becomes less powerful. The biggest risk to Tesla isn't necessarily a faster EV from a competitor. It's the possibility that buyers start exploring alternatives outside the EV category altogether. BYD faces a similar situation. It is a leader in battery production and electric vehicles, and its long-term strategy is strongly tied to electrification. However, if engines like Honda's gain popularity in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, those regions could become more competitive for EV-only brands. In many of these markets, people may prefer vehicles that work seamlessly with today's infrastructure while still being adaptable for the future. There's also the business side of batteries to consider.